The big July update for Valhalla is out now, increasing the level cap, making the game harder if you want, and overall laying the groundwork for a ton of future content. Let's run down everything you need to know in this video. If you enjoy the Valhalla content here on the channel, then totally leave a like to show your support. And let's go. A quick reminder for my Helix credit pack giveaway, which you can enter via the link in the pinned comment for 2,300 Helix credits. These giveaways are only for subscribers of the channel, so make sure you are subscribed first, and good luck. I saw a lot of people asking about the one-handed swords during my weekly reset stream, but as noted in my previous video, we will be able to get one during the Sigurblot festival that starts this Thursday. If you go to the festival terrain right now, you can already see that they are preparing for the new event. And it will run from July 29th till August 19th. I will have a dedicated video up with everything you need to know. And we'll be streaming the festival as well the moment it goes live. So I really hope to see you there. The update also adds support for the Siege of Paris, preparing the game for the expansion release on August 12th. So really the main purpose is to prepare us for future content, although we will need to download the DLC separately as well when it becomes available. But yeah, we'll link to my video going over all the free and paid summer content coming to the game at the end of this one. Let's now focus on the things that are available right now. If you namely go to the skills section after installing the update, you will see the new skills pop up. There are 36 new nodes in total, which means the max power level is 466 right now if you get all the new ones. Totally use a scroll of knowledge at the merchant if you have your settlement at level 6. You will then be able to buy it again later. And before I touch on the new skills, it's worth noting that they made these post-launch skills more visible. First, they kind of had the dark cloud surrounding them, which is not the case anymore. They basically made some room for these new skills, and also nice, a new feature that lets you instantly unlock a path to the skill you want if you have enough skill points. It works really well. It only doesn't work for these post-launch skills, so that might be something Ubisoft will look at. And speaking of these post-launch skills, next to the stat increases, we got 2 real skills per category with this update. For the wolf, we got Survival Instinct, which lets you hold the heal button to get on your knees to heal, but only if you don't have any rations, and the menu says it costs adrenaline, but it doesn't for us. And we will, by the way, go more in depth on these skills in the future, because there are like more things than meet the eye. But in this video, I just want to quickly touch on what they do. You see Wolf Warrior right here, which increases your damage the lower your health. And the damage difference is actually quite noticeable, surprising enough. A really overpowered skill is the Aiden's Heart, which lets you refill health over time after a hit. I think it triggers after like 5 seconds, and then you get at a rapid pace the health back you just lost. This is really strong. I love the new Slam skill. It's basically the Kick of Tear or the Spartan Kick, but without an adrenaline cost. You do the heavy attack button at the end of a sprint to kick an enemy. It's really a ton of fun. Light Fingered is amazing. It lets you auto-loot nearby corpses. So in melee combat, you basically grab everything around you all the time. And last but not least is Thrill of War, which is a nice passive skill. It gives you adrenaline as you stay in conflict. So you basically get adrenaline back over time. So overall, great skills. Some are fun to use as well. And I will go more in depth on them in a future video. Right now, I want to talk about the new level scaling feature. We already touched on that in a previous video. You find it in the options menu under difficulty, and that makes a lot of sense because it can actually make the game easier and harder as well. So when you turn this feature off, the enemies will not scale anymore. So if you then go to an early game region as a high level player, you will almost take no damage when they hit you. Seems like the enemies get a bit more stupid too. Like there's now no challenge whatsoever. Before, the enemies would always scale, so there would always be at least a 50 power level difference in lower level areas. But again, now you can turn that completely off. Default is how the game normally is. Constant means that enemies are always leveling with you. So when you level up, they increase in level 2. And you, by the way, also see that the level scaling is active thanks to the map and quest log. That will also have a different suggested power level depending on your level scaling settings. If you select harder, then the enemies will always be 30 levels higher than you. And Nightmarish, which I've been rocking during during the weekly reset stream means that enemies always have a skull icon. And I say always, but it's important to know that this scaling feature doesn't work against bosses like zealots or legendary animals, for example. Funny, by the way, versus the bull, the smaller bulls will be a skill level, so really hard, while the legendary animal did not scale at all, making that an easier target than the smaller bull companions. Note, boss encounters and game modes will not be impacted by this, as they have their own intended difficulty settings. So also the mastery challenges and the river raids are not impacted. But I also figured out that enemies inside a royal demand area do not seem to be impacted by this scaling feature at all, which is kinda weird. And also the enemies from the daily and weekly contracts remain the same, making them easier when you play on the nightmarish setting. I'm curious if they will change that in the future. No, but overall, I think this feature is really great. It's especially the damage that enemies do against you that has been impacted by this. Like with my crazy spear build, I still eat away at their health. And I get why this is, because in Valhalla they always want to make sure that there's a fast time to kill, which I think is great compared to Odyssey, for example. But first, you could easily take hits on very hard, like you see right here. This is in the default enemy scaling, so how the game was normally. I can take multiple hits from this Irish enemy before I go down, no problem. On the nightmarish setting, it deals half my health. And this with an almost fully upgraded armor, by the way. If you have a very weak armor that has no inventory upgrades at all, then a regular hit from the same enemy will just insta-kill you. Luckily you got the slow motion effect of course first, but this really shows that this is challenging and also that upgrading armor really helps, which is just great all around. Now I also think that a New Game Plus would be way cooler, like replaying Valhalla on this nightmarish setting. Could be pretty cool. I do think it's sad that this doesn't apply to the river raids, where I wanted this type of challenge, but oh well. They did fix some things for the river raids, namely the appropriate rewards would not be provided after completing a raid, and rations would not heal the proper amount of health for Yam's Vikings. And we also got a lot of other fixes and changes. Some people were namely not able to complete the Lost Drangir of Ragnar Lothbrok mission, which appears after defeating all the Drangir in the world. Well, if you got that issue, then totally try it again after installing the patch, because you should be able to get the dagger now. The Ostara items that were removed with the previous patch are back now too, so you can select the colorful raven again if you want. And the tattoos from that previous festival are back as well. Enjoy them before you're likely going to change them for the new festival rewards, which again will be coming July 29th, so 2 days after this video. We got fixes for the Saint Faith mystery some people had issues with, and Yetva now on Twitter notes that this was indeed fixed. The Benji World event should be fixed now too, and also if you had issues with your custom controls, then totally try it again after the recent patch. Jake on Twitter confirms that this patch fixed his issue, so crouching and interacting with different buttons should work now properly. Stealth detection is not the best in Valhalla, and this became really clear in some of the mastery challenges, like the Welloken one. Well, Ubisoft notes that they improved player detection from a stealth bush in that Raven trial, and overall, the issue when entering the stealth mode in some bushes during the mastery challenges should also be improved. The Incendiary Powder Trap ability level 2 has been slightly changed. First, the explosion from the ability when an enemy triggers the trap would not deal damage, but now after the update it does. Only 8 damage though in our case, so not really noteworthy, but it's totally a change. They also mention fixes for various issues with the Vikinger Salute ability, but we could not really figure out which issues were addressed. Some things that are interesting are, for example, that you can kill regular enemies and even an arbalist, but when you do this ability on also smaller enemies but with the shield and the flail, you almost deal 0 damage. making the ability kind of useless. Overall, I think it's still a really fun animation, but it's totally the worst ability of the Wrath of the Druids DLC. And I also want to highlight 2 fixes Ubisoft shared that I saw some people talk about regarding this expansion. Namely that they could not collect the prison key in the Courting the King's mission, or that they could not confirm the kill on the Ash Druid for the order menu. Should now be fixed. And I also found a great rune in a chest in Ireland, by the way, while I think you could first only get minor runes in this region, which was pretty annoying, so that has now also been fixed. Ubisoft notes that sicko combo attacks did not register properly. You can of course get these weapons also in the Druids DLC, and well, sometimes it felt like damage or hits were missing when doing regular attacks with these weapons. It feels better now after the update. It feels like a slight change, although it's still of course way smarter to use the amazing offhand tactic. We also already encountered some secret changes in this update, so things that Ubisoft did change but did not tell us about. Totally, if you found interesting things as well, reach out via the input@joraptor.com email address, or by sharing it in the comments under this video. We will then go more in depth on it in a future video, so totally subscribe to stay up to date on everything Valhalla, the festival, and way more. A like on the video would really help me out. And Ubisoft also revealed all the content that is coming this summer, so even more than the Siege of Paris DLC. You can check out my video going in depth on that by clicking on the screen, or I will link to it at the end of our photo mod showcase. You can of course send in your shots to the ValhallaRaptor hashtag on Twitter, or by going to the dedicated pictures channel on my Discord. And you can join the Discord if you want via the link in the pinned comment. Once you are there, accept the rules, and then you are able to post. Joyce, your turn. You selected 3 shots from the community. We're of course curious about the festival pictures at some point, but for now, we want to see what else you got. So bring it on, or take it away, or whatever you want.
Yes, thank you, Yor. What's up, everyone? First up is Great Ragnarok over on Discord, where Eivor is showing off at the giant beer bucket in Jotunheim doing a handstand? I mean, how is that even possible? Can Eivor now, like, float on liquid? I mean, nah. I mean, this is a case of a perfectly timed picture, obviously, where Eivor is diving into the bucket, and just before he hits the water, taking the shot. Well done.
Yeah, really cool.
Next up is Pizza Pug, who caught Eivor in a very interesting situation where he seems to have some extra beef with this enemy who just got killed. He's spitting blood or dripping it on his face. I mean, could be after an avenge quest, of course, putting some more drama into the picture. I mean, I totally get it, Eivor. These players need to be avenged. And finally, we've got Figuello31, and I hope I pronounced this right, where Eivor is...
Figurello.
Thank you for that. Where Eivor is ready for a raid in the St. George armor set after he just docked his ship on the shore. I love that they chose the Black Flag naval set here with the shields and the figurehead. Can't wait for the new river raids to pop up someday.
Yeah, they should be. Maybe we already know this because we record this in the like before we know the details. So either way, subscribe for more Valhalla content. Maybe the river raids are next update. We don't know. And check out our previous video by clicking on the screen. Goodbye.
Goodbye.